Well, this is not going to fare well with the gaming industry. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. Be sure to go up to that notification bell. Make sure you click it and flip it on to all, so you make sure you get all of our notifications here on QTCast TV, on all of our social media platforms, on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute. And thank you for those who have subscribed. Really, we do really appreciate it. Well, it seems like we have a big problem over at China. And, we saw this coming. And if you think that this won't happen here, think about it again. I mean, you've seen restrictions on stuff. You've seen bans on anime and other products and stuff like that. And now China is going to introduce a major restriction for minors for playtime. And they're going to control their playtime and on video games. And we're going to read this off of Otaku USA magazine. Thanks again, guys, for this. The Chinese government already has its limits on video game playing time for those under the age of 18, but now those restrictions have been increasingly dramatically. According to a report on Reuters, minors will now be limited to playing games at a maximum of 1 hour per day from Friday to Sunday between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. only outside holiday.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot. It's serious.
China has ordered game companies to make it so children can't access the game during the rest of the week as well. The National Press and Publication Administration explained the reasoning behind it to Chinese state media outlet Xinhua, saying that protecting the physical and mental health of minors is related to the people's vital interest and relates to the cultivation of younger generation in the era of national rejuvenation. Wow. Talk about throwing in the politics. Prior to this, restrictions were in place that said minors could access the games on any day, but only for a daily total amount of 1.5 hours, which actually seems pretty tame when compared to the current limits. Companies attempting to assist in these early efforts include Tencent, which announced plans to implement total facial recognition technology to keep minors from using false credentials to create adult accounts in video game to circumvent the restrictions. Other countries have put limits on minors playing games in recent years, but South Korea, for instance, put an end to those restrictions and swapped them out for an opt-in system that will let parents or legal guardians decide whether or not they want to have children take part in the limitation program. Obviously, this will have an impact on the major players in China's video game industries, including like the likes of Tencent and NetEase. These and other companies have been investing in studios outside China, which is just one aspect of the necessary and visible shift in business strategies. See, this is the reason why we should not deal business with China as far as certain things, especially in our tech businesses. You have Tencent, who basically has a lot of games here in the U.S. and on that. And, you have TikTok and you have other things. Here's what they're trying to put into emphasis there. Now, understand, kids should not be playing for hours upon hours upon hours, and probably young kids on there. Yeah, a couple hours is okay, because let me tell you one thing about video games: it does train their eyes, their hand and eye coordinations on there. There have been many different research programs that have been put out there by universities that they've noticed that basically the hand-eye coordinations have improved, and that basically can help to improve test scores as far as that, because they're focusing more on the screens and they're able to be able to focus on the questions better. Because one of the major things is that kids get confused on the questionings and the answers and stuff like that, especially in multiple choice questions. Now, as far as that, it's really up to the parent that should tell their kids, hey, listen, get off the games, get back on there, on that. I know my grandson, his dad tells him get off the games, get back to the schoolwork, or get to bed. He's strict on that, and I really appreciate that. Parents like that, you need to show that you are the parent, and he's the child, and basically he needs to follow your rules. That's very important on there. But when you're restricting, see the thing about it is, and we've been doing it even here, if you haven't noticed on there, restricting kids how to play, what to watch on TV. I mean, we got rid of Saturday morning cartoons. That's one major thing. The government, this government, US of A, our own government, put restrictions on to the point that, they said, well, we need more education on television. We've had plenty of it. And in this age, 2021, how many of these education channels have steered away from education? I mean, on Saturday mornings, you still have the adventure programming on there, the Sea Adventures and the pets and all that, some minor cartoons on education. But you've seen also where you had channels like the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, move away from their actual, what they were supposed to be doing, and they do other things more toward reality shows. And then you have the places like Nickelodeon, and all these other groups that just basically throw in the parts that just basically they want to indoctrinate children into their thought process. Like they're throwing in things from the LGBTQ community. We don't need that on children's television. We don't need that at all. They don't understand this, and for you to try to teach them these things on there, you're frightening little children. Number one. Number two, you're telling them, oh well, you could be gendered this way, that way. No, they're too young for that. Once they reach to basically, as I would say, the age of reasoning, which is getting into your late teens, when you're 18 and older. If you feel this way, you get some help, number one, to understand what you're going through. And in most cases, it's going through kids. Kids go through puberty. Puberty has never been easy. I went through puberty. It wasn't easy for me. I went through a lot of things, a lot of emotional things. And I sought out help. I sought out help. Some of it helped, some of it didn't, but then I figured it out. When you get to the age of reasoning. And this is coming from a boy who was a Catholic school for many years, who worked in the church for many years and left it because I saw some things that basically I disagree with. Some instances where they said we believe in this and we believe in that, and that, that's not what I believe. When I got to that point. And it's the same thing, you gotta let kids play. You have a government like China that just wants to control, and they're brainwashing children. I'm sorry, if YouTube throws this video down, but it's the truth. There are videos out there by Reuters and many others who have put videos out there that have shown this is what's going on in China right now. They have taken control of the population. And we're starting to see that here in this country. There are certain videos that are out, and I'm not going to mention the company name or anything like that, that have put out in California that they're indoctrinating children to the same mindset as the Chinese government. And some of them are in our universities, they're in our businesses. The next time when they tell you don't sign up to TikTok, don't sign up, or a Tencent game. There are other companies with games out there that are that don't act on your information, that won't try to stifle play for children, Children should play. They should be able to play. They need to play. This is what, there was a company a long time ago that we did a shooting for, a live location shoot for in our public access station. The Rabbit See Rabbit show was a company. It was. It's not the same one that it is today. This is an older company. It was called Let's Play to Grow, which was teaching kids, to have fun. This is the way to grow into adults. You learn to play. You learn things on there, and you had fun. I mean, we had people there. We had Marvel characters there. Spider-Man was there. And we had Miss Molly from Romper Room. For those of you who don't know Romper Room, one of the greatest TV shows here on the East Coast on, I think it was WWOR, Channel 9, which was on daily, similar to something like Captain Kangaroo, Kukla, Fran and Ollie, and many other TV shows. But Romper Room taught you things. They taught kids things. We've had these shows. We've had Sesame Street, Electric Company, Zoom. I can go on and on and on into many shows that taught kids. And they taught them to have fun on top of that. But now everything is toward educate, but educate in a sort of indoctrination of children. One thing in this country, we should be at the top of almost everything. That's why this country became big the way it is. People say, well, it was built on the back of this and that, on the bad days that we were so evil. What's so good about this country? What's so good about this country is think about what this country has given to the world. Remember, if you're watching this right now, there would not be an internet without some of the people here in this country. Companies like Microsoft and Apple, which had a major impact back in the day. And as much as we don't like talking about these companies and what they've become now, in a way, they've become very important to the build of this country. Also, look back in history look at the skyscrapers we have, especially in New York City, the buildings we've built. We could not build, we were the ones who created that. We helped build these architectures of masterpiece in this country. These are masterpieces. As much as you don't think, it's just a building. Think about what went into going to make this building, into the constructions, the workers. There are pictures of construction workers on skyscrapers from the old days, building the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and many other skyscrapers all over the country. It's always important to look at where everything is. We created the cars, we created technology, some of the agriculture that we do today, we help build up, because basically at that time, if you look at the rest of the world, they didn't have some of the things that they had. Back then there were no rules for deforestation and stuff like that. Some of these countries ran out of food, and we're talking about England, and we're talking the UK and middle Europe, and if it wasn't for people that came here, we would have never had some of those things. So it's very important to always remember that children is the beginning of things that are very important to us. Our children are important. Keep them happy. Let them play. Don't restrict. If you want to restrict their play, don't restrict it to the point where it's literally cracking the whip. They do their homework. They can play for an hour or two on there. They're allowed to. Or get outside and get some air. Go to a playground. Kids used to go to playgrounds, right after they did their homework or before they did their homework. They would go after school, they would go play with their friends, and then they go home and do their homework. We used to go to the library, had some fun. They would have like a little reading and stuff like that, and we do our homework there, have some fun, and then go home. We have to stay ever vigilant to the situation and keep paying attention to these things. That's why we brought it up here on this show. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. Check out our new merch shop at shopq2cast.com. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.